In this Clash of Clans video, we are going to be showing you the best of both worlds. Town Hall 10, ground and air. Which strategy should you learn in order to improve at the game? Give yourself the best possible opportunity of getting yourself a 3-star. We're going to explain all of that in this video, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, let's dive straight into this. We're going to start with the air attack and then we will move on to the ground attack. Now the reason that we have chosen these two methods is because they are incredibly consistent. Metas change, some strategies come and go, but one thing for sure is that the two strategies you will learn in this video have been applicable for a long time, and they will be in the future. For the air, we have chosen the LavaLoon as the best air attack, and demonstrating this at Town Hall 10, you really need to focus on a couple of key things. You can see that already happening here. We're using the Queen Charge method, and I do have another method which is coming up in this video, but we're trying to take out the clan castle troops. You never know what's going to be in there. If it is a clan castle which is not going to attack up at your LavaLoon, you don't have to worry about it, but the main one, which you can see in the center of the screen, is the enemy archer queen. You've got to try and take her down, otherwise she will destroy your LavaLoon portion. Now notice these two balloons coming in from the top of the base. Whenever you are using a queen charge, just take a little bit of a note of the defenses around. You can see that the queen is going to be drawn into the center here. There's a lot of buildings, they are very close, so the queen is going to be moving forward, but the archer tower here is within range of the queen, so it's constantly going to be firing at the queen, and there's nothing else around the perimeter of the archer tower, so simply sending in a balloon or two will be able to snipe that off. Now that helps dramatically in terms of pathing for your queen. She's more likely to come through the base here instead of being distracted across to the side, but also it means there's less fire onto her, which means you might get away without using a rage spell in a certain position. But we created the funnel on the left and the right for the queen to come into the base. We've got access into the base via that jump spell, and we're going to take out a few objectives: the clan castle troop, the archer queen, any air defense that can help with pathing. You don't want to take them out for no reason. They've got to make sense in terms of pathing for your lava hounds, and what I mean by that is, let's say we took out this air defense and all of a sudden this entire area of the base was exposed without an air defense. The lava hounds would move across and leave the balloons vulnerable. So you've got to take note of what you are taking out, but the most important thing is pathing. The queen has got into the base here and has taken out this entire northern area, meaning that we know the LavaLoon will come down this way and around the base up over. They're not going to be drawn to that northern area of the base. Guys, if you are new to my channel, be sure to subscribe for all of my Clash of Clans videos and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my content. The LavaLoon has already started. That is the lava hounds and then the balloons. The slammer, if you are using the queen charge method, is a fantastic siege machine, and I want you to take note of the balloons that came in from the south and from over here at 4 o'clock. What that means is that the balloons coming through the center can do exactly that. They move through the central defenses. They're not having to be drawn out to the other side of the base, and coming down to the end of it, the single target inferno really isn't a big deal. It would have been a big deal had we have charged the queen in that way, because you've got to commit something to it, whether that be the queen's ability, the freeze spell. Once it's onto the queen, she will go down, whereas the multi, queen is not really bothered about it as long as it doesn't get in range of your healers, but the balloons would be bothered about it. It all depends on the angle of the base you're coming into, but the LavaLoon, I would say, is the best air attack consistently, and we have another variation of that coming up. But before we get into that one, I want to flip across to the best ground attack, the most consistent. Let's get into it. So for the ground attack, we've gone for the Hog Riders. Again, there are strategies that come and go. Potentially the Frozen Witch is the best strategy at Town Hall 10. And if you guys want to see a tutorial I did regarding the Frozen Witch, I will be sure to link that at the end of this video. Definitely helpful for you. But for the Hog Riders, again, there's a number of ways to do it. The Queen Charge, which you just seen, is a method you can use. However, notice the value that we get here from just Suicide Slammer and Hero Dive. This Stone Slammer is incredible. We take out the entire bottom section of the base in terms of defenses, and inside that was the Archer Queen, not to mention the Clan Castle troops are pulled and even start to go down. So just a Stone Slammer and a Rage spell in that area is incredible value. I think that they had planned for the King and Queen to help in this area, but wasn't needed. Works out ideal though, because sending them down this way means we can start to take out defenses here where the Hog Riders will come to them at the end, one of them being a Wizard Tower. Now for the Hog Riders, when you put them in, you have to think about keeping them together to get maximum damage through the base, but you also have to think about surgical deployment. So any defenses on the outside of the base, for instance this mortar, you might want to commit a couple of Hog Riders to in order to ensure that the hogs coming through will continue on the defenses. However, the point I wanted to make is notice how we came into the Multi-Inferno first. If you have Multi-Infernos, if you can take one of them down with your kill squad, great. If there's a second one, make sure to try and track the Hog Riders onto that first. So again, notice how we're bringing Hog Riders in to the defenses on the outside of the base to keep this overall push coming round the base. And I actually have an even better example of Hog Rider deployment in terms of controlling heal spells for the final attack of this video. But notice how coming down to the end of the raid here, we had the heal spell ready, waiting for where that Wizard Tower was going to be, but in the end the Queen got it anyway, and there is a poison spell there as well. If you know what's in the Clan Castle, you know how things are going to play out, or you know from a scout, let's say, that there are a lot of skeleton traps, you might want to take that second poison spell, because the skellies can do a decent amount of damage on hogs if there's a lot of them, plus you can slow down the enemy king. It's not like the LavaLoon where you just have to focus on the Queen. You do have to consider them both. However, the Queen is a lot faster, does a lot more damage, so if you're prioritizing the King or the Queen to take down for the Hog Rider attack, the Queen has to be the one that you try and take down. Let's move to a different variation of the LavaLoon to give you the best possible chance of getting yourself a 3-star. We have Shivam getting a 6-pack in this war, and every attack you see in this video is by Toxic Rabbits. If you want to join us, maxed out Town Hall 10 players or above, be sure to join my Discord server. All of my social media platform links are in the description. You'll find everything you know about joining up in my Discord server. But for this one, the entry to the LavaLoon is different. We initially use the King and a couple of other funneling troops to take out all of the trash buildings on the outside and enable our Queen to move straight into the base. Now I want you to take note of what we get here. Remember, we always say that any objectives you take out are relevant to the base, so it's not like you have to take out the enemy Archer Queen, it's all relative to the base. Now look at the design here for the LavaLoon. We have 4 air defense over to this right hand side of the base. Now the reason that they're there like that is to try and defend LavaLoon. Whichever side you come in from, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable in a way because you can't path Lava Hounds correctly. Notice all of the Wizard Towers to the back end of the base here as well. So your Lava Hounds are going to leave your balloons and they will be vulnerable to splash no matter which way you come in from. So actually the Queen coming through and taking out some of the Wizard Towers is incredibly important in this base in order to counteract what the defender is trying to do. Make sure you are considering whatever it is you're doing in terms of your kill squad. And because we didn't commit much more than just the heroes there, we have all of the spells. Now for any type of base like this where they are trying to defend against LavaLoon, you can sometimes rush it incredibly quickly, but you've got to commit a lot of spells to do it. So the Lava Hounds come into the air defense. They do leave that initial area vulnerable for balloons, but notice how we had haste spells. We had the freeze spell on the multi. We quickly got through that area where the balloons were vulnerable, and we have a good spread here. They're not all going to just get sucked into that wizard tower. We have some of them trying to distract from the top. We have the haste spell to power through, and we also had a heal spell so that all of the balloons coming into them wizard towers were full health. And that, I thought, was a really good example of how the defender tried to set up the base to defend something. However, planning can always prevail, and basically managed in this case to overwhelm that area, and it's very easy to fall short of that. It's like any Southern Teaser style base. You can take that area out direct into it, such as a queen charge, but you've got to commit the right amount of spells, and if you undercommit, all of a sudden everything goes down because there's so much damage there, and you can lose the raid very easily. But that was the LavaLoon with the hero dive. Let's move to the next Hog Rider attack to help you with them ground attacks. For the final attack of the video, we have the kill squad into Hog Riders. Now, you could use this entry for a LavaLoon attack, just like you see in the Queen Charge. You can use that for the Hog Riders. They're interchangeable. It just depends on the base. It depends on what you're comfortable with. After this attack, we will move you across to the Frozen Witch Guide, which again, probably one of the best strategies now, but we went for the Hogs and the LavaLoon because they are incredibly consistent. You can use this all of the time. So very similar to them other strategies, create your funnel, whatever kill squad it is that you're doing, you're going to have that funnel to send your troops into the base. The Wall Wrecker tends to be the best siege machine for this, and the one troop that you kind of need to get into the middle is the Queen. You're going to have other troops within inside the Wrecker. The Queen can reach up and hit any of the air targeting clan castle troops basically, plus she can reach across walls to get to other areas of the base. Similarly to the other kill squad that we've used, we've actually taken out a section of the base here for pathing. Our Hog Riders are going to move around the base. Now, why do we use Hog Riders here on this section? Well, it comes down to personal preference, but we have two multi-infernos. Air defense as well. I guess we could get okay pathing, but as soon as this one goes down and the Lava Hounds move up to the top one, we then don't have great coverage. We'd have to have them balloons right through that thick area of defenses very quickly. But for Hog Riders, you want to try and take the enemy Queen and the enemy King. We've actually taken both of them here, and we're able to commit 4 heal spells to the Hog Riders. You can't always do that with balloons because they're slower. So if you can take the heals and you've got the multis, the Hogs can deal with that a little bit better. First heal spell down in this area, the second here. I want you to take note of how all of the defenses here are tanked. So the Hog Riders, although they are the ones that are taking all of the damage, so the Queen actually is fully protected at this point, the Hog Riders have taken all of that firepower, but they're inside the heal spell. One of them has to be committed over that multi. With the bomb tower moving into where you can see the gaps around the multi, there's a good chance that there's a bomb tower there, and there is a good chance you can time out. So even if your Hog Riders go down, if you've protected your kill squad, you can ensure that they finish things off. However, cleanup troops are important to not time out. So notice how we have wizards, archers, anything around the outside of the base here in order to help out. And what that means is that you're not going to time fail, but you've also got to take note of buildings on the inside. Yes, the Queen is able to deal with it in this one, but look at this builder's hut. You might want to send a minion into that, or let's say the clan castle in the middle. If that was missed, you might want to send a miner in there equally as well. Do take note of what trash buildings are on the inside of the base. So that to me is the best of both worlds. Best ground, best air, consistent strategies. If you want to see the Frozen Witch, probably one of the best strategies for Town Hall 10 right now, I've got the video linked for you right there. Go ahead and click that one, guys, because you will enjoy it. But that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, peace out.